Bakugou was upset, as per usual. However, this was different. For a few days now, the male students of Class 1A had been getting up with shenanigans he didn't want any part of, yet his affiliation with his classmate Eiichiro Kirishima forced him into it. Valentine's Day. All the boys had worked diligently to appear as proper as possible, with a few exceptions of course, such as Shoji and Tokoyama, who didn't really care about this. It was a mini challenge proposed by Denki Kaminari. Whoever had the best date on Valentine's Day would get console privilege for a month. Sadly, too many of the male students agreed to this, so Bakugou was forced into it. And he was not going to give up his game time after his rigorous cram sessions. Like a tornado, he had practically harassed the girls of his class. After all, he was perfect, so the date would go great regardless. But even after many attempts, he still failed, miserably. Of course, if anyone even as much as attempted to suggest changing his approach, he would figuratively explode. It was 3 days before Valentine's Day when he had reached his wit's end. He sat in the dorm room, controller in hand, playing Haunted Ground 4, an amazing horror shooter that he would definitely miss if console privileges were given to someone else. It was then Kirishima finally approached him. "Yo!" he shouted. Bakugou just growled. "Still no date?" "I take that as a yes." Kirishima looked at the TV screen. Bakugou was really into it. He probably was going to beat his previous high score if he managed to not game end himself for another 10 minutes. "You know, Bakugou," asked Kirishima carefully after a minute of deliberation, "have you tried asking a girl not from our class?" "I mean, it would be less creepy." In that moment, "Game over" boomed from the TV. Bakugou gave his friend the stink eye. "What?" "Look, the girls either have someone, I'm going with Mina, so it's really inappropriate that you keep asking her." "This is a challenge." Eiichiro blinked. Okay, how could he explain this better, in a way that Bakugou would understand? Okay, let's just say it's against the rules to ask out a girl who is already going out with someone else. Bakugou blinked. "But that only leaves Yayuruzu, and she already said no 4 times. Mina went with Kirishima. Tenya with Tsuyu, but the two had no interest in each other. Tsuyu was very much intrigued by Tenya having the console, as he promised her she'd get full access to it. And Bakugou and the Frog Girl were bitter rivals when it came to Haunted Grounds 4 scoreboard. Ochako went with Deku, obviously. Toru with Mineta. Most likely she would just leave him behind on the date. She just wanted him to stop staring at her. And Jiro went with Denki. Bro, again, just ask someone else. An upperclassman. Maybe. Someone from Class 1B would be an option too? I mean, Zero, someone managed to get a date with Pony. Not happening. Well, then you lose. Not happening either. And third years are way out of our league. Not to mention, most of them are already 18, and I think that would be a little weird. Bakugou grimaced as he picked up the controller again. Piss off. Kirishima shrugged, leaving Bakugou alone to sulk in his misery. A hand suddenly slammed next to you against the wall behind you. It was a day later. And the scary first year you had watched bark like an animal during the sports festival had cornered you, his crimson eyes staring right into yours. For being a year younger than you, he was already so much taller. Of course, a classmate had warned you that he was asking out all girls of class 2 for a date, but you never expected yourself to be chosen. However, as you felt threatened, your quirk activated, unintentionally. 2 arms burst through your backpack. They were slender and wooden, swinging side to side.
What the hell is that?
You blushed hard. Oh no, you made him upset, you squeaked. Quickly dodging under Bakugou's arm, you stepped away from him, placing your bag on the ground.
Where is he? Where is he?
Shouted a voice from your back. No, Chuckles, it's all right. A head now popped up from your back. It was a doll's head. More specifically, a crude cloth skin that covered a wooden head beneath it. 2 eyes and a haphazardly stitched mouth made up the puppet's face.
Hey, Explodey boy!
Shouted the doll.
Stop threatening my queen!
Embarrassed, you shoved the thing back into the bag. I'm so sorry for him, you cried. Chuckles is very defensive. Bakugou, meanwhile, was completely taken aback. This was one of the weirdest things he had ever seen, and he had seen a lot. You took a step to the side and threw it into your still open locker, quickly closing it before the doll could react. Very explicit curse words were now echoing from the storage, until you kicked it, shouting a quick "shut up."
This chick is crazy,
thought Bakugou, and he blushed, unintentionally. You forced an awkward smile. Sorry, that's Chuckles, my quirk.
I see.
So, a date, was it? Maybe the diplomatic approach would get you out of this situation quicker. All girls just straight up said no to him or ew before leaving him, which often just ended up with him asking them again and again and again. So maybe if you carefully explained that you weren't interested, that would get him off your back. May I ask why me specifically? Like we never talk with each other, or?
What's up with that thing?
He interrupted. You blinked. Long story.
Well, you can explain it during our date.
He forced a smirk. It was a little shaky, and with his eyes it looked a bit creepy. Yet you had to admit that was a little smooth. Yeah, an attempt was made, at least. You took a deep breath, giving up. After all, you'd probably protect some other poor girl from being asked out constantly. Only if... You pointed at the locker. If you don't make him angry, otherwise it will get really uncomfortable.
That's a yes, right?
Yes. Yes, it is. Wait, was he playing dumb now? No. For that, his face was too active. Probably multiple thoughts were ghosting inside his head. I'm guessing you want this for Valentine's Day? I mean, I know this cafe where we could go to, if you don't mind me taking the lead for this.
Yeah.
He forced a smile.
Just didn't think I'd be seeing and or hearing this today.
Oh, really smooth, tough guy.
Bakugou felt anger bubbling up inside him, but this was the furthest he had gotten so far. He shouldn't waste his chance. I guess I'll wait outside the gate with Chuckles on Valentine's Day. I'll make sure he stays quiet.
Sure.
It was Yuno who forced a smile. See you then. As Bakugou turned away, he didn't see how you pulled your doll back out of the locker, wrestling with the little guy as he was trying to hunt him down. And Valentine's Day arrived sooner than you had expected. Probably at the anticipation for this making time fly. This was your first ever date, so you had gotten to school with some extra makeup and a quick change of clothes. You had quickly changed into your new outfit on the toilet and had quickly thrown your uniform into the laundry rooms. Chuckles was sitting in a leather harness you wore on your back. It covered his mouth and bound his arms. All the annoying creature could really do was kick his legs in random directions. Honestly, as you stood there, as proper as you had ever been, you felt awkward. The last time someone had asked you out on a date, you were stood up. As it turns out, it had been a prank. But then you watched Bakugou approach from the school building, alone, hands hidden in his pockets. He had spent these 2 days alone with Yayuyuzu during her study sessions, learning how to at least appear like he wanted to be on this date, and how to appear interested, even if he wasn't. What Momo didn't know was that the strange encounter with you, and the toy, hasn't left his mind even once yet. So yeah, there was a genuine curiosity.
Well,
He smiled at you as he came closer.
you look good.
You blinked and blushed. Thanks. You walked past the gate together.
So where are we going?
He asked cautiously behind you, his eyes fixed on the doll that was staring right back at him. There's this wonderful little cafe called Soleil. It means sun in French. It's run by this couple of cat people. You gulped. Mutation quirk users who have cat-like features. Bakugou chuckled.
I'm fine with them being called cat people in my vicinity.
You groaned exhausted. Ugh, thank God. People always get so upset when you point out their mutation. It's so annoying. I mean, hello? I'm running around with a psychotic murder doll on my back. It's not like this world isn't weird enough. Just let people have fun. Bakugou snorted.
Yeah.
You wanted me to explain my quirk, didn't you? Bakugou nodded. I'll tell you at the cafe. In the meantime, I want to know more about you. After all I really know about you is that you were barking around like a monster during the, sports event. Bakugou had taken you for super shy when he first encountered you. But you seemed kinda cheerful, or at least that's how it appeared. Truthfully, you were having a complete and utter anxiety attack beneath your smiling face. You never were in this situation, and you really only did what Chuckles had told you as you got ready for school today. But it seemed to work. Bakugou began talking about what a cool dude he was, about his powerful quirk, his childhood. It wasn't really detailed. Seemed like he was hiding practically anything that could make him appear even slightly weak. So, you started after you had ample time coming up with what to talk about. What do you do in your free time? He blinked.
Read books.
You deadpanned. And
Learn and social media.
Admitted a girl told you to say that. You interrupted him.
What?
What you just said. It's what a girl says when they want a boy to think they're interesting. Come on, tell me what you're really into. He huffed, amused.
Well, when I'm not training to become the best, I play video games. What else is there to do?
See, was that so hard? Good boy. Being called good boy made him blush. What games do you like to play? It seemed like Bakugou was Bakugou's favorite subject, so he quickly realized asking questions like that would keep him talking, preventing the date from becoming awkward. And honestly, him talking really helped with your anxiety, and the more he talked, the less scary he became. But then he said the following words: Haunted Ground 4. And that was like a switch in your head had been pressed. Wait, you mean the zombie shooter, right?
Yes?
Oh, I love that game! You shouted so loud a few passers-by started looking over at the two of you. Unintentionally, though, you had taken Bakugou's hands in yours, as you looked into his eyes wide-eyed. Bakugou blushed.
Ah, come on. I bet every guy in your class plays it.
No, they're all so boring, you sighed. I'm really the only gamer among my classmates. They all want to become super good heroes and such, and
There's zero fun.
you complained and giggled. Keep me interested like this, and maybe I'll ask you out on our next outing, Bakugou. When Katsuki didn't reply, your friendly demeanor almost cracked, your anxiety getting the better of you.
Okay, I'll take you up on that.
Him saying that felt like a hit in your face, but in a good way. You soon arrived at the cafe. It was wonderfully decorated. Everything was pink with little hearts. And just by looking at the cute exterior and interior, you heard the pitch of your voice increase. You sat down inside, as it was still early spring outside and quite cold. The cafe specialized in tiny cakes, meaning a single cake was about the size of 2 regular slices. This made them perfect for sharing. As you looked through the menu, your stomach growled. Bakugou ogled you over the card.
Hungry?
He asked. I haven't eaten anything today.
Same.
You blinked. Anxious?
No, I never was at this place. And I wanted to see how much I like. So I wanted to test as much as possible.
You blinked. Ha! How are we gonna split the bill then? He dropped the menu, his eyes burrowing into your scalp like daggers.
I pay, of course. Did you really think I would split the bill?
You blushed hard. Sorry. A few minutes later, a cheerful lady with a bushy cattail and whiskers approached you. She took your orders with a smile, and as she went back to prepare the coffees you had ordered, Bakugou leaned forward, setting the menu back into its stand.
So, what's the deal with the toy?
You blushed, and thought for a moment on how to put it properly. My quirk is a hereditary quirk, meaning my entire family has it. You shrugged. You shrugged and motioned with your shoulder to make sure that it was clear that you were talking about Chuckles. He is a sort of spirit quirk thing. The doll grumbled on your back, and you shushed him. When a member of our family is born, whatever quirk the person outside the family had gets automatically overwritten by this hereditary quirk. And, well, our quirk, they're like spirits without soul, bound to us. Bakugou raised an eyebrow. Yeah, I know, it's esoteric crap, but I'm just explaining how it was explained to me. You cleared your throat. These spirits, they have no personality. They follow every order given to them. However, at the same time, they're unable to touch the real world. So, technically, the quirk is a mere hallucination specific to the user, but I'm the first one of my family whose spirit is more developed. My spirit, Chuckles the Clown, as he is right now, he can possess humanoid non-living objects. In other words, dolls and action figures. And his personality adjusts depending on what he possesses. So his personality would become more like that of All Might if he were to possess an All Might action figure. And, well, right now Chuckles is just Chuckles. Bakugou's eyes widened. That was a really cool superpower. Your food arrived. A velvet cake, a strawberry shortcake in the shape of a heart, and a marzipan roll. All cut perfectly to be shared by two people. And for a moment you stopped your explanation, as you almost greedily took a piece of the red, soft, creamy velvet cake. Salvia was already gathering in your mouth like crazy.
Someone looks excited, commented Bakugou.
You blushed lightly and hid your face behind your hair. Sorry.
Nah, it's fine, he said. It's honestly kinda cute,
he added quietly. Leaning forward confidently as he buried his fork inside the marzipan roll.
I like girls who have a healthy appetite.
He looked away, making an innocent expression.
I'm a bit of a talented cook, and I like it when people eat my food.
Oh, a bit of a talented cook? Since when are you so humble? He blushed but kept his confidence, just barely.
Well, maybe it's because I'm starting to like you.
You smiled shyly, back at him.
So, why Chuckles?
He asked after a while. I was 4 when he first possessed a toy of mine, so, of course a 4-year-old gives stupid names.
Huh.
Besides, he seems to like that name.
What's the quirk called? Like the quirk itself.
Queen's Knight.
Sounds cool.
The conversation drifted off into school stuff, comparing the work the second years did to the first years. Your insecurities about how much 1A already achieved. After all, they had an entire villain organization after them. Meanwhile, you and your classmates were just extras. Something about you saying that, though, fired him up.
Well, you know, the best thing about extras is becoming friends with the protagonist. That then turns them from an extra to a side character. And those are usually beloved by fans more, so...
You chuckled in response and tilted your head. I mean, my quirk already forced me to be the sidekick of my own abilities, so might as well, right? However, as all good things come to an end, eventually you and Bakugou were completely stuffed. Bakugou graciously paid, and you promised to pay for the next time. The look he gave you in return was almost scary. He placed his hand on your shoulder and just said,
I never forget a promise. You know that, right?
When you returned to UA's gate, The sun was already setting. Katsuki opened the gate for you, like a gentleman, and you followed him to the dorms. Well, I had fun, and I hope we can do this again sometime. You smiled and blushed.
Hope so too. It was nice.
For a moment, the two of you were quiet. Then suddenly, you leaned forward, kissing him on the mouth without warning. But he was surprisingly quick in returning the gesture, as he wrapped his arms around you just above the head of Chuckles, who could feel your rising heartbeat. He knew exactly what the two of you were doing behind his back. Bakugou's lips were calloused and rough. They would have been dry too if it hasn't been for what was clearly vanilla-flavored chapstick. But that just made the kiss even better, as it had some taste to it. You hummed happily. You never thought that your first date would end in a kiss. Before slowly moving away, your foreheads touched as you looked into each other's eyes, lovingly. Am I too forward if I ask, for some, tongue? You huffed excitedly.
If you don't shove that thing in my mouth right now, I'm going to game end you.
You smiled and blushed hard before returning your lips to his mouth, invading it with your tongue. Meanwhile, inside the 1A dorms, the entire class of students was pressing their noses against the windows to spy on the two of you. The boys all simultaneously groaned, none of them even having gotten close to what Bakugou was experiencing right now. They were jealous, making it clear that he was the winner. But it seemed like he probably didn't care much about his win in the competition. After all, he won something much, much more satisfying than that. Hey, thank you for watching my video until the end. If you're new here, I hope you stick around and watch a few more. But before I say goodbye, I'd like to remind you to like the video and subscribe. I also have a Ko-fi and Patreon if you want to support me financially. And I also have a community Discord server. All links are down in the description. Hope you have a good day. Until next time.